Hi, welcome back here with your stocks. It's a slew of earnings that have been coming through. So for the market, for the moment, down about a quarter-odd%. But the stock we're going to focus on now is Somany Ceramics. The company actually came out with earnings, which are looking a bit weak actually, because top line has seen very anemic kind of growth at just about 8%, coming in at 405 odd crores. They've also seen an exceptional loss of about nearly 4 crores, and profitability has been almost flat at about 10.6 odd crores. Margins, though, have improved considerably, closer to that 7% mark now. Abhishek Somany, the joint MD of Somany Ceramics, joins in to take us through these numbers. Hi, Mr. Somany. Thanks very much for speaking with us, and apologies for the long delay. But first, sir, can you take us through what was the reason for the weakness this time around? Why top-line growth in just single digits?
So we have unfortunately, we have a large skew towards month end. And if you remember last year, last quarter, September, we had a trucker strike. So we lost out of about 20-25 crore rupees of sale, partly on 29th and on the 30th of non-availability of trucks. So if you had to put that in, then our numbers were looking fairly good. Even otherwise, we're looking at about 8.4% of growth on top line. And you did mention that we had an exceptional item of 3.8 crores, which is not pertaining to last quarter, it's pertaining to last year. If you had to discount that, in that case, our earnings have substantially improved. We've improved about 50 basis points on PBT and about 100 basis points on PAT.
All right, Mr. Somany, then that point's well taken. But sir, if you could give us what was the volume growth for this quarter? Let's take into account the last couple of days weren't so good. But what was the volume growth, and also what was the realizations in the last quarter?
Right. So the volume on 8.4% growth, which is what we've recorded, was 6%, and on an annual basis, on 13.2%, the volume was 10%. So we're fairly good on the volume growth, and margins have improved slightly, and therefore the expansion which you see on PBT and PAT. And the margins have largely come on the account of we selling more the value-added products and also more of the vitrified segment.
Okay, so in this case, that means you'll still have headroom for margins to go higher still?
That's right. We are constantly improving the vitrified portfolio, and also the realization in that case goes up. And the volume which we've lost, the value and the volume which we lost in September because of an unforeseen situation, you would see that handsomely coming back within the quarter. So this quarter, to that extent, would be higher by 20 extra crores, which we lost out last month.
All right, Mr. Somany, then could you tell us about prices? How are they moving exactly? Because we spoke to a competitor just last week, and he indicated maybe in December we can see some price hikes. Are you confident that you can push through some price hikes? And if that's the case, then will it impact volumes?
So this is specifically for the vitrified segment, because as you know, a very welcome situation has emerged this month, which is the initiation of the anti-dumping duty. So there is a lot of piped inventory currently which would get consumed between October and November. So December, maybe not December, then January, we should look at a little bit of a price correction in terms of the vitrified and the glazed vitrified segment. So that should definitely improve margins. This will not affect volume, because currently that volume is coming in from China, especially in the port towns of India, which is Cochin, Calcutta, Chennai. That would get substituted by the Indian volume. So I think from that perspective, volume would not get hampered. In fact, it would become a little better.
All right, Mr. Somany, could you tell us how much of your sales get protected from this safeguard duty? Because the street was trying to read that particular notice and we're a little confused. So out of your total production, how much is protected by the safeguard duty? It'll give us a sense about how we can look at the second half of this year.
So first of all, it was not a safeguard duty, it's anti-dumping duty.
Anti-dumping duty, right.
And, correct. And what is happening is that a large part of the port towns are being flooded by Chinese goods, and they're now making a beeline into the rest of India also. So about 15% of the industry at the top end was being dumped with China, and that was putting pressure on the entire system, even the lower end products. So suddenly the higher end became cheaper, substantially cheaper, and it's been proven that it's a clear case of dumping, and that's the costing is even, the landed product is even lower than our costing at times. So this would have a very significant improvement in margins, volume and value.
All right, Mr. Somani, we'll leave it at that. All the very best for the rest of FY16. All right, also watch for Wonderla Holidays, a good set of numbers coming in. Meanwhile, HDFC is dragging its feet. It's the biggest pressure point right now on the index. We'll wrap up on your stocks, but leave it to closing bell to take the action forward. Stay tuned.